Welcome. Let's start this bulletin with the big news coming in. India's talismanic former captain MS Dhoni has announced his retirement from international cricket ahead of the 2020 Indian Premier League. In a style typical of his understated demeanour on the cricket field, Dhoni announced the decision on his Instagram account. Dhoni's future had been a topic of much debate after the 2019 World Cup, and he had not made himself available for selection since then. Dhoni played a valiant knock against New Zealand in the World Cup semi-final last year, but his run out for 50 hastened India's exit and ultimately proved to be his 350th and final ODI innings. Dhoni retires with over 16,000 international runs, but he will always be remembered as the player who shattered stereotypes in Indian cricket. He made his debut in 2004 as an attacking batsman, but soon matured into one of the finest finishers in white ball cricket. He led the Indian team to ICC World T20 title in South Africa in 2007. He became the captain in all three formats in 2008 and was at the helm when India reached the #1 rankings in Test cricket in 2009 for the first time. Dhoni's defining moment came in 2011 as India regained the ICC World Cup after 28 years. Now, Dhoni was man of the match in the final against Sri Lanka. India also won the ICC Champions Trophy under his captaincy in 2013 and reached a World T20 final in 2014. India's defence of its world title ended in the semis in 2015, and Dhoni gave up captaincy for good in 2017. He retires as one of India's greatest cricketers.
Will you just take a moment?
Now, WION Sports editor Digvijay Singh Dio is joining us live from the newsroom. Good evening to you, Diggy. MS Dhoni, Indian cricket's most successful captain, has announced his retirement.
Yes, you know, Alison, when we talk about MS Dhoni, and let's be fair, I think everyone associated with Indian cricket, be it as a fan or someone, like us who follow the sport, or even those within the Indian cricket establishment, sort of knew that MS Dhoni had played his last match when India exited the World Cup last year against New Zealand, and everyone was sort of waiting for when the announcement would happen. And that was what, even when Saurav Ganguly took over as president of the BCCI, he was asked, what about Dhoni? He said, people like MS Dhoni will take the call and we can't pressure them. It's up to them to decide when it's time to move away. I think what we've seen today is a classic Mahendra Singh Dhoni. He's been someone who never sorts of gets sucked into the hype. Remember, all through the last 10 months, there have been a lot of occasions when Dhoni retires has been trending on Twitter. At one point of time, even his wife had to come out and say, relax guys, MS is not retiring, because MS Dhoni has always done things on his own terms. When he gave up the captaincy in Test cricket, he actually was addressing a press conference in Australia, finished the press conference, everyone goes back to their work, and then the email comes from the BCCI. So that's MS Dhoni for you. He's never sort of, allowed the pressures of Indian cricket to weigh him down. He's been his own man and he's loved to do things his own way. That's the way he's gone out. He's gone out when no one expected it. And that's classic MS Dhoni for you.
Let's talk a little bit about his legacy, this man who's larger than life. How did he change the game of cricket, especially in India?
Well, when we look at MS Dhoni, we've got to look at Indian cricket as well. We've had some great batsmen over the years. We've had the likes of Sunil Gavaskar before him, Vijay Hazare, Vinu Mankad, coming down to Sachin Tendulkar. We've had Kapil Dev, one of the greatest all-rounders. But MS Dhoni was a very unconventional cricketer. And that was the thing which sort of ensured his rapid rise in world cricket, and then as a thinking cricketer, a cricketer who backed his team. It was his unconventional style. A conventional captain would never allow a untested bowler to bowl a final over in a T20 World Cup like he allowed Joginder Sharma to go ahead of Harbhajan Singh, just because Joginder Sharma says, I'm confident I can keep a rampaging Misbah-ul-Haq at bay at the other end. MS Dhoni always backed his instincts. His batting style was not something you would find in a typical coaching manual, but he scored tons of runs everywhere, over 10,000 runs in ODIs, lots of runs in Test cricket, centuries everywhere, and in the shortest format of the game, which was the T20 and later in the IPL, it was that unconventional style, Alison, which sort of helped Chennai Super Kings always be there in the reckoning. They're one of the most consistent teams in the IPL because they've always been around in the semis or in the final. And this was all down to Dhoni's astute man management and his outstanding ability to sort of guess the game as it played out. A lot of captains sit back and wait for things to unfold. MS Dhoni reacted very fast.
Absolutely. If we had a man like that in South Africa in the last World Cup, things may have been slightly different.
Actually, Alison, that's an important point because let's see, MS Dhoni, his defining moment, in fact, will be the 2011 World Cup win in India because it ended a long 28-year wait. But I remember MS Dhoni making his debut for India in Bangladesh. I was actually there in Vizag when he scored his first 148, batting at number 3 against Pakistan. In later that year, scored a blistering 183 in Jaipur. So he started off as a batsman who could really tonk the ball, you know, and then he sort of transitioned into this astute finisher. But 2007, that T20 World Cup happened in South Africa, in your country. And that was where the sort of Dhoni's abilities came through. You know, he was leading a very young team, apart from Yuvraj Singh and Virender Sehwag, who was on the comeback trail, and Harbhajan Singh, all mostly a team of youngsters, all the big players, Tendulkar, Dravid, Ganguly decided that T20 is a young man's game. MS Dhoni took this team to the World Cup, backed his team, and they won it, that T20 World Cup. And you know, the ability of MS Dhoni under pressure, and that's why I actually stopped you, because South Africa, we've seen in international cricket, especially in the big tournaments, they sort of choke under pressure. But MS Dhoni was perhaps that one man, you put him in any situation, till, you know, the years started to catch up about a couple of years back. But MS Dhoni, till a couple of years back, till say 2014, 2015, 2016, he would back himself to be there at the end and win the match for his team. That calmness was what a lot of people around the world have said is what makes MS Dhoni a true great, not just of Indian cricket, but of world cricket.
Right, and just to speak about some of the specifics, Dhoni retires as an Indian cricket's most successful captain in limited over internationals, having won 3 ICC trophies, the 2017 T20 World Cup, the 50 over World Cup in 2011, as you've mentioned, and the 2013 ICC Champions Trophy. What are some of the other most noticeable achievements in the game for him?
You know, Dhoni had this unusual style, which I was mentioning, Alison. But you know, when I look back at MS Dhoni, and I look back at his career, and I look back at his captaincy career, I think Dhoni came around the right time. You know, he was mentored very well. He had the captaincy in the ODIs and in T20s right after that T20 World Cup win. And then he served as an understudy to Anil Kumble for 1 year. And he handled that transition very well. Let's not forget, Indian cricket had a lot of scars at that point of time because of what had happened under Greg Chappell's tenure as coach. There were lots of divisions within the team. But MS Dhoni, first with, you know, Gary Kirsten, then Duncan Fletcher, sort of got rid of those scars, became a very good person who could gel the team together. Remember, all those greats of Indian cricket were still playing. So there was Sachin Tendulkar still there, Rahul Dravid was still there, VVS Lakshman was still there, and towards the end, you know, Saurav and Anil Kumble, they retired before he could actually take over the captaincy. So all these big names were still around, and he managed that transition very well. Ultimately, MS Dhoni will be known as one of India's greatest man managers, you know, on a cricket field to handle the kind of talent he had. And Virat Kohli, when he was appointed captain, Virat Kohli said that I have learned everything that I have under MS Dhoni, that MS Dhoni has laid the foundations for Indian cricket to sort of succeed, and we are seeing that now with the domination in Test cricket, you know, India challenging at the World Cup. So that platform was laid, you know, earlier. Right up till 2011, India was slowly starting to inch towards getting there and fighting with the likes of Australia or South Africa and England. But under Dhoni, they sort of overcame that initial hesitation, became world #1 for the first time in 2009 in Test cricket. And after that, it sort of set a platform for Indian cricket, and they haven't looked back.
Right, and we know that he will be playing in the UAE for the IPL. We are expecting him to play in that game coming up.
Yeah, MS Dhoni is going to play the IPL, and MS Dhoni, we still don't know how long he'll play the IPL, because there's one thing, you know, this was a man who was picked in the auction by Chennai Super Kings in 2008 when the IPL was actually conceived. And ever since then, he's become an honorary Chennai boy. He relates with Chennai. No person sort of glues that team together like MS Dhoni. And just a couple of days back, there was a statement from the CEO of the Chennai Super Kings that there is no question of MS Dhoni calling it quits after this campaign, that they're expecting him to be the leader of this team for the next 2 editions as well. And knowing MS Dhoni, I think when this is over, when his cricketing days are finally over, when he gives up the T20 as well, domestic T20 in the IPL, you will see him in some sort of role with Chennai Super Kings. That's been home to him, you know. He's been with them through thick and thin, even at the time when the scandal happened post the match fixing, sport fixing scandal in 2013, when Chennai Super Kings, as a result, were stopped from playing for 2 years. He stood by them thick and thin, so he's going to be around there.
Right, and he has announced his retirement from Test cricket. That was during the middle of a series, and this again in a somewhat unconventional way, and also on Indian Independence Day.
Yes, perhaps MS Dhoni is saying that I've had it, I'm going to go out on my terms, and on this day I'm going to, say that I'm done with international cricket. But it's been coming, Alison. It's been coming. Hasn't played since what, July 2019. Almost got India home in that chase. If you remember, MS Dhoni, the man who was known as the man with the Midas touch, who took India deep in any game and gave them a sort of a fighting chance. Let's go back to that thrilling World Cup semi-final. India down and out, what, 90 for 5, 90 for 6. Dhoni and Ravindra Jadeja at the crease. They somehow took India to the doorsteps of victory, and Dhoni seemed to have timed it perfectly well until it was a direct throw from, I think Martin Guptill it was, right from the end, from either third man or fine leg, which actually saw him run out just by a fraction. Ultimately, it came down to that. When India needed MS Dhoni the most, that luck, which had stayed with MS Dhoni all these years, sort of deserted him. It was that close. It's a one in 100 chance of hitting the stumps from the outfield, and it just happened. So yeah, since then he's not played. He made himself unavailable. He wasn't part of the contracts, and everyone said, let MS Dhoni decide what he wants to do. The then chairman of selectors also said that we have moved on from MS Dhoni when they sort of picked Rishabh Pant and started to play him. So yes, it's been coming for a while, but he just decided on 15th August to tell everyone, I'm done. That's MS Dhoni.
Absolutely. And tell us a little bit about how he has become someone for youngsters, an absolute hero who they can look up to, especially children in small towns, not just in India, but around the world.
That's an important point you're making, Alison, because Indian cricket, pre-Dhoni, had always been about the traditional centres, the sort of establishment in Indian cricket sort of frowned on these cricketers coming from the hinterland, because Indian cricket was about the big cities, Bombay, later Mumbai, Chennai, Bangalore, Hyderabad, New Delhi, Calcutta. These were sort of Kolkata. These were sort of the big established centres of Indian cricket, But MS Dhoni broke that barrier. The boy from Jharkhand, it was an outpost of Indian cricket. Nobody even knew, that team used to come and go in Ranji Trophy cricket. But this man from that outpost took Indian cricket by storm, won a T20 World Cup, won the ICC 2013 Champions Trophy, the 2011 World Cup, became this massive international star, one of the greatest players to have played the game, and that gave a lot of people hope. You look at the Indian team today, a lot of players who have come through in the last 7 or 8 years are from cricketing outposts you wouldn't have heard of. Pre-Dhoni, you would not have had, it could have taken a lot more time for the likes of Jasprit Bumrah with that uncanny action coming from absolutely nowhere, and many others like Hardik Pandya and all, to actually break into the Indian team. MS Dhoni sort of ushered in that change, that if a boy from the hinterland could reach the dizzying heights that he did, that anyone could. And later, once the IPL came around, we saw an explosion of talent, and Dhoni always sort of knew how to blood talent, even when he saw them at an IPL game. Just an example of Ravichandran Ashwin, Ravichandran Ashwin played with Dhoni in Chennai Super Kings, regarded as a T20 specialist spinner, but got more than 300 test wickets right now.
Tiki, thank you very much. We'll leave it there. Bring us all the latest on the analysis there on the retirement of MS Dhoni.